Good evening, everybody. Welcome to JACKOCAR Cup Series playoffs, chase, postseason, whatever you want to call it. The first thing you might have noticed is we're still in the lobby. So nobody wants to get going, which is a great shame. But I can assure you myself and co-commentator Mr. Owen Wyatt, we are more than ready for this one, aren't we, Owen? How are you this evening?
I am not doing too bad, Jacko. We are sat in a country looking forward to yet another Canadian Grand Prix. Even if I were offered the chance to race here, I'd quite like this track. But looking at this pit lane now, all the memories of the last 8 seasons are coming back and reminding me of just how ridiculously crazy this track is. So we're in for chaos tonight. Jacko was telling me all about the simulation damage stuff earlier on when I was setting up the lobby, so I know we're going to get a lot of carnage tonight. We've had all sorts here. Pit lane pile-ups, race fixing, we can call it race fixing. We have plenty of race fixing. And of course last season we had MK Bourne's incredible victory. And so we have got a lot to look forward to tonight.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of race fixing here and there, is it? Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I quite enjoy the drama and the controversy of it. That the league sort of thrives and lives off of this sort of stuff. So we don't mind that. And of course, drama, we've had it here before. The one race where we didn't have drama was the first time that Gareth ever raced here. And we were all bigging it up to say, it's always the best race of the season. And then it was the most tame race we ever had, wasn't it?
Boring, wasn't it?
With that exception, Canada has always delivered. Something always happens here, and that's why it's back in the in a playoff spot race. It's not an elimination race, but it is in the playoffs because it just for the league causes enough drama for us to give us something to talk about, basically, and that is what we like. Before we get going, Owen, properly this evening. Only 19 cars on the grid. Mike Kelterborn having internet issues. And you will see there is no Jamie Wright, there is no Kieran Spears, and there is no Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith with a broken wrist. Jamie Wright gallivanting around Barnsley. And the other one, Kieran, is at home with his mother. Replacing those are Nick Egan, Waze Cuba, and Michael Okeke. Nick, 50% Canadian, something like that. Technically a home race for him.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's the business dealt with. Oh yeah, stage laps are laps 7 and 14, and Corey Dalton is your one joker. But this is Montreal. Welcome.
So we've got Michelle Gorris, he's the first one out there. And it was that Kieran said in the group chat earlier on, saying that he'd be watching and that this would be something intimidating, like him missing this race isn't a massive disadvantage to his season. So it's annoying that he's not really here. It's annoying that he's a bit like me last. I know how this feels now. Me last season not showing to any of the flipping races. He's showing up to none of the races, and he's going to lose on a charity because of it. So feel free to watch, Kieran. Hi, but this isn't really helping your chances, really, is it? Come on, stop having a life. Get back on the F1 game.
He did say he would join us in the chat as well, didn't he? But I have not seen him yet. So in the meantime, we will watch a lap on board with the Dutchman Michel Gorris, who I will remind you has had his pedals fixed. So let's see if they're any good around this Montreal circuit. You've already seen turns 1 and 2. This is the very hard to get right, I should say, turn 3 and 4 as he flicks right then left. And there's 5 up towards turn 6 and the end of the sector. This is, of course, where Vettel went off in 2011 or 12? One of them.
11.
Into the DRS zone then comes Michel Gorris, 1 of 3 on this track. This one not very useful. Another chicane here, that's 1 of 3, so 3 DRS zones and 3 chicanes as we now run down towards the hairpin on board the 34 car of Michel Gorris. This is, of course, where Kubica had his crash back in 2007. Good knowledge. Back straight then. You drive all the way from Vancouver to Toronto. That's how long this back straight is. Very difficult braking zone when you've got cars in front of you that are pitting, but a flick right and a flick left for Michel Gorris back onto the ERS And up to the line he comes to set tonight's benchmark of a 1:11.211 as qualifying is now underway in Canada.
Did look a tad understeered at that, didn't it, from Michel Goris? I think he'll be happy he got round, but maybe a bit of more weight might need to be added for the race, because that will cause some issues if he ends up understeering into all the chicanes like he did there on that lap. Next up, we have got Weiss, who I believe did he lead a stage on Tuesday? Because I know
he won the race on Tuesday.
He won the race and everything.
Yeah.
My goodness. So he's on some form. I'm still reminded of Imola, where he showed up near enough at the front, which surprised me really as racing. So I know he's good, and we're waiting for the massive Weiss performance in the Cup Series. I didn't actually realise he'd won on Tuesday, so we'll see if he can take forward that momentum and have a good Cup Series race. Into the last chicane, hits the wall on the exit, but that's fine. He kept it within track limits. At this point, you might as well just push to the line anyway, and he will go second fastest.
And look at this. For the first time this season, someone who is out before Jamie Griffiths has set their lap, and I've managed to find Jamie straight away. It did help that he's only 2 cars away from Waze on the leaderboard, but I finally found him. That's my goal complete for the season as Jamie Griffiths opens up the DRS. I put a tweet out earlier about all the drivers and just a little bit of something, and I didn't have much to say about Jamie, but 2-time race winner in the Cup Series. One in Monza and one in Silverstone, but over the line he goes P3, 4 tenths off of pole as we move on to Sullivan Lewis, Mr. Risky Racer.
I've got to say, considering the lack of variety that the F1 game has given us this year, we've got some nice liveries. I tend not to notice them when I'm on track, but we've got, say, Risky's very nice indeed. So we've got a nice colourful grid at least tonight, as heads through the chicane and on towards the hairpin at turn 10. The wee kink on the exit here actually does count as turn 11. It's a wee bit like Austria's turn 2, where rarely does this count as a corner, but apparently it does. And even the even smaller kink, which is here, counts as turn 12 on the official F1 map. Beggar's belief, really, isn't it? But here comes Risky Racer down towards turns 13 and 14, or otherwise known as 11 and 12 for normal people. Round the final corner, hits the wall like everyone else, and invalidates, unfortunately. He will cross the line, would have gone slowest anyway, but he's going to be stuck down in 12th at best.
Someone else
certainly fall further.
Yeah, someone else who's invalidated is Michael Okeke. He'll actually out-qualify Sullivan, but still not what he needs, especially coming off the back of what seems to be a return to form for Michael. P2 on Tuesday night around, where were we raced? Saudi Arabia. So Michael Okeke back on the podium in JACKOCAR. Can he repeat that here in the Cup Series as he fills in tonight? But now, nice spin, but now, here's one for you. Ben Shaw, chase leader. Owen Wyatt.
Yeah, so for Iceman, this is going to be a bit of a unique one this season because he's almost guaranteed, really, isn't he, to be in the Challenger 5 via the chase. It's what I've anyway always worried would happen, is he'd end up with a super fast driver, just end up in the chase. He's only in there, right, because he didn't do enough races in the first 9, right? Because he did win in Monaco, didn't
he? He did win, yeah.
So I think if you're in the chase this season, you've got a massive task, and it doesn't really help that he's getting a tow off Risky Racer through the fans chicane, nice and easy.
It was
effortless, wasn't it? As a man with a Max Verstappen helmet crosses the line 1 second quicker than anyone else. That is some benchmark.
Yeah. Very, very good lap from Ben, over nearly a whole second clear of Michel's time as we look at Connor Byers. Little stat for you. Oh, good save. Little stat for you on Ben. He is the first driver in JACKOCAR history, Cup and Kia, to enter the postseason with a win but not be in the playoffs. It's the unique situation that we've never had before, but because of that, he has a huge lead entering the chase. And something that this man is going to have to try and overcome. Connor Byers, of course, nearly won this race last season. It was stolen from him with about 2 laps to go at the end from Mike Kelterborn. But can Connor try and repeat that and go one step further this season? He goes P3 for now as we move on to Leroy.
I bet
Who?
that race from last season. Oh, I'll let you go on.
I was just going to say who won last season's chase, but I'd be wrong. Didn't he go through the playoffs?
I think he did go through the playoffs, didn't he? He had a really good season through there, didn't he?
I will
Oh, I
tell
don't
you
remember.
in about 3 seconds. No, he was a season 7 chase champion,
Oh, there you go.
so he knows how to get it done.
I don't know my stats. I was going to say, Connor, he'll go into this race. I bet he has thought about that Canada race nearly every single time he stepped in a JACKOCAR. So he's going to have a lot of redemption to do because he lost it at Vettel's corner very close to the end, and it sort of lost him the chance of the victory.
Oh,
So, can Leroy lose the chance of a fast qualifying lap, one that would have put him second fastest, by getting it wrong in the final chicane? So he's got a bit of work to do from, like I say, best 12th on the grid. But yes, Connor, definitely keep an eye on him tonight because I reckon he's going to be here with vengeance. And of course, look out for, if I can find him, I've got your problem. Where is he? Okay, is he even here?
no, yeah,
Am I blind?
I'm sorry, Mike's not here.
What?
But so
No! The winner from last season's bottled it.
his internet has. Instead, we get to see Yori, and as I switched cameras, he was coming through 3 and 4, and there was a lovely low-angle camera on a slight tilt. It looked brilliant, so we'll have to watch that one back post-race. But this is Yuri Hazelager. What is he? He is a chase driver, just like his brother this season. How far can he go? Two-time Kia Series champion here in Canada. So, Yuri Hazelager rounds the final corners, unlike many others that have come before, keeps it valid, and up to the line comes Yuri, P3. No one is getting close to Ben Shaw's time at the moment, as we will now move on to the playoff drivers, and I'm hearing the Centurion, Jordan Lane, he's invalidated. So, Owen White, 99 Cup Series starts, 1 in the Kia Series, that's 100 for Jordan. I will let you give us a lap on board Pete Knighton, who's also invalidated.
Oh, my goodness, stop it, you lot. This is why I left last time. Right, let's find someone else.
Well,
Corey,
after Pete's Corey, he's on his outlap.
No, he's on his outlap, is he?
It's quite a long way until he's ondy halfway round. Do we have anything nice to say about Pete?
Not really.
Is it? Oh, well, I've joined him on board as he spun, so...
Do you know what? That's just one corner before where the infamous... 2 corners before the infamous Season 2 spin, which ended his JACKOCAR career as a, intimidator. Because since then, he has been about as intimidating as my pet cat. He has been absolutely hopeless, and this lap is... a good explanation as to why he just can't keep the fin in a straight line, unfortunately. Corey, however, as we get round to starting his lap, he's become a bit of a force to be reckoned with in JACKOCAR, nearly won the title in race 100 in Season 6, and thanks to absolutely no race fixing whatsoever, is a race winner this season in Japan. So through turns 1 and 2, the traction zone out here is a bit difficult. You get wide to the exit, you'll be able to get round okay, and that's what Corey's done. 3 and 4, it's a good corner to send it into. He had a wee correction in the middle of 3, but it's alright. Through 5 and towards 6 and 7. Don't touch too much of the inside code because you will end up losing the rear end on exit. He's done just fine there though, Corey. Very well planted indeed, actually, as he heads into the DRS zone. Turns 8 and 9, sort of similar issue. Don't take too much code because they will bounce you a bit around. Just ask George Russell. As we head down towards turn 10. This looks a good lap. You would expect this to be challenging Iceman. Not sure if we'll quite see him beat Iceman, but he has got a better track. He's got a more rubbered in situation, so we will see what he can do. The second DRS zone on the track, and just turns 13 and 14. You've got a long time to think about how you're going to take the World Championship chicane, and he's taken it completely wrong by invalidating it, unfortunately. You've got all that time to think. I almost wonder, and it would have gone fastest as well, I almost wonder if you got to that corner with a little bit less time to think about it, you'd see more people get through it successfully, but alas, he's not managed it.
And as we always say, with the Jokers, the advantage they've got, at least if they make a mistake in qualifying, is they only have to make one stop in the race. But of course, Owen Wyatt,
this is not a good track for a one stop.
Never that simple. Corey's won here before. Khalifa's won here before on Jokers, I believe. We are now, however, looking at Nick Egan, who runs a purple car, and we don't like purple in this league, so hopefully we'll be straight off of this. Yep, rubbish lap, and on to Ben Harrett then. No, Gareth Hall.
Even
Here
worse.
he is. Oh, who's invalidated?
Oh, wow.
So the known awful qualifier in the league has continued his reputation. Well, if anything, his average qualifying this season is P12. This will be bringing that total down as he will start 18th. We'll move on then to Ben Harrett.
So we'll get to see a full lap with the purple, green and white car. I don't recall him running this much colour before, Ben Harrett, but I must say it's a good look.
These are your colours, aren't they?
Ah, well, it's my livery template, but he's taken the blue and turned it into a purple, so it is quite nice. The colours might be a bit more turned around, but you can see where hopefully he's got his inspiration as, of course, the king of liveries that I am. And very much
self-proclaimed is that.
Well, even you didn't have anything to complain about with that livery, and I thought you would. So, I mean, that's as high as praise as you can get from anyone, apart from your own, of course, which is what I've just done to myself. But anyway, we have a lap going on here, and through the middle sector, I'd say Ben, he's about a second down where he needs to be, unfortunately. But there is a car in front of him, which will be able to give him a tow. And that tow indeed.
Is having absolutely none of that, is he? Whoever that was.
Yeah, but I respect Ben for sticking up. At some point,
it's Khalifa.
Another driver. Khalifa, come on, you've got to be a bit more of a team player. Although, of course, we tend to see that with Arnold quite a lot. We'll see that later on.
P2 goes Ben Harrett.
Fastest goes Ben Harrett.
Good lap. He'd come in tonight as well, thinking he's not going to get very far into this postseason, but I think he might if he keeps that up. I'm assuming Arnold's done something.
Again. Yep, as usual.
Let's see what time he would have had. The Belgian living in Germany. It's a 1:11, so he'd have gone P4 with that. Well,
Khalifa's off. Khalifa's off as well, and that would have been the favourite for pole position. I know this myself, having sat in parties with him and witnessed him beat me every single week. But this week, he gets it wrong, of course, and I'm not driving. So that's Khalifa and Arnold both getting it wrong. Normally it's one or the other, but never both, and apart from Monaco. But
Khalifa,
that is, well, unfortunate.
Khalifa, by the way, 20 pole positions. He has,
anyway,
yeah.
I think, so he'll be alright. Have they both won here from last, Arnold and Khalifa, or is it just Khalifa?
Khalifa definitely has. Arnold did it in Belgium.
Oh, did it?
There's a lot of cars altogether, by the way. Look at this.
Yeah,
of course, Khalifa is still on his qualifying lap as Jake O'Sullivan gets out of the way. We are going to move, though, to Casper Klein, who notoriously hates this track, as do many people on this new game. Slices the wall, but manages to get away with it, does Casper. He'll be getting a lot of confidence from the fact that only 8 times have been set. So,
livery, by the way.
Yeah, this is brand new as well, this livery. I joked with him earlier in the week saying it's Swedish colours, which it is, technically. And of course, the Finn wasn't having any of it. But can he take his Swedish car and put it on pole in Canada? This is the hairpin. No lockup, gets away with it. And he was setting blistering time trial laps earlier in the week as well as making a Swedish car. I just wonder if he can transfer that pace across into the race. 2 corners to go then for Casper, and that will leave us with one driver, Jake, after this.
He's bottled it.
He has. Okay. So the Swede will only be 17th. So it's over to you, Jake O'Sullivan, last week's race winner, 2-time regular season champion, chase champion, 2-time JACKOCAR Cup Series champion. What more can you say about him?
He's slow.
He is slow, yeah. It looks like, well done, Iceman, on your, I believe, 2nd pole of the season. Or shall we just hold fire on that in case Jake O'Sullivan has a magical final sector here in Quebec as he comes under the Rolex gantries and down towards the right-hander. It'll leave him with a left-hander, and then the Wall of Champions, and he's on the home straight. He appears to get it right. It's coming up to the line, 1:10.2 to beat, and it's not enough. So Ben Shaw is on pole. Jake O'Sullivan starts his playoff campaign in P4, and Nick Egan P3 in his home race, and that's qualifying.
Must be his best performance, that Nick, no? P3. As a reserve as well, not doing too bad there.
Let me get back to you in half a second when I find his name. Of course, there's many a name down here. His best ever qualifying is actually P2.
Oh,
would you believe? Yeah.
Wow. Well, P3 for your home race, still isn't too bad. Representing one hub quite nicely. Doing the tier 1 tier, some service. Of which, of course, I am the best driver in, but we'll not dwell too much on that. Yeah. Do you know what that looked like to me? That looked like ERT getting it all wrong. Corey's in 16th, Khalifa's in 10th, Arnold is driving. I mean, even Jordan's last, and obviously, where did 17th for Casper as well in the Red Bull World Championship cars? I think that's what that's meant to be, isn't it? But
I thought it was designed after a Swedish flag, personally.
Well, it could be, but I would go more for Red Bull. I'm going to assume that's what he's done that for. But,
I know Isaac in the Kia series will like it.
If he's a Red Bull, he's certainly Perez tonight, and there's my best joke of the night, and no one's going to laugh at it. But yes, ERT very much at the wrong end of the field, apart from Nick, which means we're going to be in for a very good race tonight, because they're going to be high entertainment.
Yes, let me just confirm. Ben Shaw, it is his second pole of the season, and it's his 19th all-time. Only 10 drivers, and only 9 of those are actually competitive. Yeah. You've never seen Khalifa so far off the pace, have you? But let's run you through those 10. It is, of course, Ben Shaw from Ben Harrett. So an all-Ben front row. Nick, the wrong ERT driver, up the front, because all the ones that are full-timers are below him. And then Jake, who has been exceptional all season. Michel Goris, brilliant qualifying from him. Then Yori, Connor, Waze, Jamie Griffiths, and Khalifa. The rest are rubbish because they all invalidated Owen.
But that's how important it was for Khalifa to get his lap done, because he could easily have given that up, but he ends up actually in the top half of the field still.
Yeah, and of course it's never over, is it? So, like I said earlier, stage points are lap 7 and lap 14. Corey, the only driver who can pit once if he so desires, and of course pit stops begin from lap 3 onwards. It appears to be dry, but of course this is Canada, and what was it a few seasons ago? Was it Jamie Wright or Casper staying out on the dries as the rain started to fall? Brilliant, brilliant scenes. I wonder if we're going to get something like that again.
It rained, and it got to the point where it was so quick as well. Like, literally, one lap it was dry, next it was definitely straight into. So it's definitely one of those where this can flip on its head quickly. There are some dark clouds in the sky. I've not checked any chat to find out what the weather is. I don't really want to. I think it'd be more fun to find out. It might be a bit like Portugal, even, where it did actually rain at the end of that one, I think. But no one knew it was coming.
Yep.
And the safety cars pushed it forward, so there's always a chance for some weather, so just keep your eye out for it.
Safety cars is something that we are used to around here. I'm sure when Gareth joins us for commentary on the Championship 5, he'll be able to give you a stat on how many laps we've had behind safety car and how many milliseconds were lost and whatnot. Because Gareth, like us all, is anticipating an exit after the Mexico race, like he has had the last, is it 2 or 3 seasons now, but Mexico is his bogey track for whatever reason. But we are going to go for a formation lap, providing Owen has set the lobby up correctly, and he has. First time in JACKOCAR history that 2 drivers of the same name have started on the front row. And this is our 199th race as a league. Next week in the Kia Series, when the Kia Series goes to Portugal, that'll be number 200.
That's quite impressive. I didn't realise we got that far so quickly.
Neither did I. I knew we got to 100 races.
Yeah, well, we made a wee bit of a big deal with that one, didn't we?
Just a little bit.
Sadly, the Kia Series, I don't think it's going to get that much of a high-budget show.
The Kia Series guys, they all watch the Thursday night build-up anyway. It does include them a little bit.
They get a wee spot on there.
For those that are interested, it is the 127th Cup Series race, which of course means Kia on Tuesday night. That'll be race number 73 for them. But like I say, 200 for JACKOCAR. 200 not out. Of course, don't forget, this was only meant to be a temporary league. back during the COVID era. ILR never come back, and here we still are today in Season 8 with plans going up to Season 12. Of course, we may not make it past Season 9, but for legal reasons, I cannot share why. The drivers...
Really? I'm going to have to ask you about that after this race, then.
Oh, have you not heard?
I'm interested in this. I've not been paying any attention.
Oh, it's good. It is good.
What is it?
Well, you know, cancel culture is a thing. Yeah, that's all I can say. Anyway,
Oh dear.
Ben Shaw and Ben Harrott lead everybody minus Sullivan Lewis round on track. I'm sure that is Mr. Lewis.
Yeah.
That's driven round really fast. I can't find him. There he is. And hopefully, Owen, we get a good camera angle this week, because all the start cameras have been absolutely shocking this season. But Nick, Jake, Michelle, Yori, and all the others, they line up as they intend to give us a show here in Montreal. I will, because he's here, hand you over to Owen Wyatt for the race start.
You're too kind. You're too kind. So, Jordan, the penultimate man to line up, because Gareth is being particularly slow today, so he will be the last one to line up in his grid slot, and he's made it in. Well done to him. We have got 5 lights here at Montreal. The playoff season's about to get underway. Eventually. Come on. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in Montreal. It's a decent start from the two Bens. They're side by side towards turn 1. Which one comes out in front? Harrott's going outside, but surely you'd imagine Ben Shaw will lead this one. He does indeed. Jake is a little bit under pressure, but he's got away from Michel Garis, who's got Connor and a few cars side by side behind him. And I think he'll hold that well. I believe he's on the hard compound tyres there, so good luck getting through this first lap without being overtaken by a few cars. We've got some more side by side. OKK and Leroy. OKK, who was out of his grid slot, so luckily he's not fallen down too far. A few moves happening elsewhere. We've got Arnold had a big slide through turn 2, fighting away there with Leroy now. And it's all really happening in the midfield. Connor's on the back of Michel Goris, but not quite finding the way through. And again, like I say, with the tyres, Michel is the one on the hards, actually, so he will be under pressure, and you would imagine that Connor's going to dispatch him nice and quickly, and indeed he does. Will he be followed through by Yuri? You'd almost expect he would do, but there'll be a little bit of slipstreaming going on there. So we'll see what else happens, Jacko.
Yep, here is Yuri. Has been squeezed right to the wall up against his fellow countryman, but does get the move done and now sits behind Connor. I imagine Yuri will just wait for the right moment, has the better line into the chicane, but that completes lap 1. Ben Shaw leads the way, and the only other thing to note there, Pete Knighting losing all of his positions that he gained. What's happened? Leroy Haselager and Casper at the back, is it?
No, it is actually Jake and Nick at the front. They've hit each other into turn 1. Jake went for a move, a little bit of wheel binding. I think there's no damage, but
Corey's out.
And Jamie Griffiths, both of them off. Jamie Griffiths no front wing, Corey no front left tyre, and that's losing it out of the tricky traction zone of turn 2. And I'm wondering if that's what's caused the coming together, a car going round. But there is the Joker driver out of contention already.
And it's only a VSC as well. Oh no, I am seeing now the safety car is leaving the pit lane.
Full safety car. The game's graphics have not updated for us, but I can tell you it definitely is a safety car.
Yeah. So what this will do is it will allow some people to use their free safety car pit stop that they're allowed to do, providing it is, of course, lap 3 onwards, and they don't follow the safety car in. I wonder if there'll be any early takers on that. And as you rightfully pointed out, Michel Goris is on the hard tyre. Not sure why. Maybe trying to save a set of softs for later on. But he has dropped from P5 down to P9, 4 positions lost.
My issue with people pitting early here is, we've said it every time we've come here, pitting early at this track is a bad idea. The strategy here is a dead set 2-stop. This is why I was saying Corey's strategy wasn't going to work, because we always find a 2-stop just is almost necessary here, because of the way the tyres work, because of how your stints are, because of how short the pit lane is. A 2-stop's almost certainly the best way of going through. So anyone pitting now, being Casper and Jamie, they're both for front wings, not for strategy. And I have a feeling they'll go on a few laps longer, just because it's not worth pitting this early to have to struggle along for 2 very long stints on non-optimum tyres.
Yeah, both of them opting for different tyres as well. Casper on the softs, Jamie on the hards. Who will prevail at the end of this, although you can damn well put a lot of money on Jamie Griffiths not making it to the end of it. He did even offer his services to join us in the commentary box once he inevitably retires. So we'll see how Casper gets on instead.
I look
yeah,
forward to that.
we should probably get the invite out now, shouldn't we? Because
I know, really.
I imagine he'll bring out the second safety car.
We shall work on that now.
He'll get the invite and come join us anyway. I don't think he goes in a party with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
So do stand by, everyone, for a bit of Jamie Griffiths commentary coming your way very, very soon. And I have just noticed that livery, by the way, looks awfully like an old 2000s Minardi, which makes me want to go and check OKK's car, which I think is very similar. Here it is, with the yellow helmet. Oh no, I'm way off. Ignore me, everyone. So Ben Shaw has led every lap so far, all three of them. Drivers can pit on this lap, but part of me thinks that the safety car will come in.
Three of them are in again on this lap. This is
strategy now. These are mandatory stops you're seeing for Michelle, Pete and Leroy.
It's odd that Michelle's going straight off the hards. I guess he just didn't want to use them and he'll be on to mediums. But Leroy is going onto the hards and Pete onto mediums. A new front wing for Pete. He's at least waited a lap to then at least have this be mandatory. Get some more options later on, but I don't know. I just don't feel like you want to be on slower tyres. It's to find people don't think about how short the pit lane is. You lose only about 12 seconds in here. It's nothing when you're on a new set of tyres. And his free DRS zones as well is so much easier to overtake here than it is almost anywhere else.
Sorry, I'm just being distracted by a comment in the chat. I'll come back to that. Also, what you've got to think about around here in Canada is the stage points are not 1/4 and half race distance. They're a little bit short of that. So maybe you want to use your faster tyres early on to try and steal the stage point. We are going to go to a comment from Jess in chat. Safety car in this lap. Let me go back to the leaders. If you pit under safety car before, let me move that now, before end of lap 3, you could still use a safety car stop later in the race as your mandatory. If the safety car is out, Jess, and you haven't already made your pit stop in that part of the race, then it would count as mandatory. So hopefully that clears it up. Or if you don't want to use your safety car stop, you would pit once the safety car is in, so say in like 1 lap's time, and then you could use the safety car stop later on in the second part of the race, which is from lap 15 onwards. Ben Shaw is about to get things underway once again, and hopefully properly this time. Single file restart. Ben Shaw leaves it late, and away we go in Montreal once again. Ben Harrett looking to maintain P2, and Jake O'Sullivan has finally got the better of One Hub Racing League owners. They see a car off. It's Yuri who's gone wide at 2, saves it, makes a bit of contact with Risky, but has come back on, and there's no damage there. Carnage further back in the midfield, but the start of it was very, very clean and a good move from Jake, a move he perhaps needs to make. Not sure what his pace is. Qualifying wasn't his best, but can he challenge Ben Shaw is the question. I wonder also how much more difficult Ben Harrett will make his mate's life right behind him there in P3, as we see Casper all the way up to P13 now.
That was a chaotic restart. I mean, they were already racing before they got to the start-finish line, and that caused a load of cars, particularly Arnaud, to have to slam on the brakes before turn 1. I'm wondering if that's why Yuri had to actually escape off onto the grass. It was all over the show. I don't think they'll be very happy with how that safety car went. And Jake, indeed, well, that was just easy, wasn't it? And eyes on the prize up in front of him then. See what he can do about Iceman, who you would have thought in this position would be able to run away with it, but you know what this league's like. You have no guarantees.
Ben does like it round here. Canada very similar to Monaco, and of course he is very, very keen on Monaco if you know anything about Ben Shaw. But yeah, the restart, Ben actually left it very, very late, which he's entitled to do before he went. And I think that caught a few drivers out who perhaps weren't expecting it. But no real damage done. As we scroll through the field, we see Arnaud making a move on what I believe is OKK.
Had him off the road, into the wall almost. just about misses it, but he's going to have to try and reverse back on as Casper goes off just in front of him.
Yep,
so...
we're looking at the Risky and Arnold battle, and that's Risky and Yuri coming together. That'll be a safety car. Will it? No, it won't.
Maybe not.
They get away with it. Risky lost it on the exit there and got turned. And that's why he's dropped all the way back to P17.
So Cleaver's got no front wing now, so he's going to have to hit with that. And Nick is now passing Ben Harrett. And he's now being passed back. This is a good fight. As they head down towards turn 1, DRS enabled for the first time in this race, but who's going to get into turn 1 in front here between Ben Harrett and Nick? In his home race, he's got the inside for turn 2. Will he crowd out his rival? He doesn't even need to. He's already in front by the exit, and that's invited Connor, the nearly man from last season. He's looking at a podium already.
Loves it round here, doesn't he, Connor? And a great move from Nick Egan as well. You have to give credit where it's due. Fantastic stuff. I was going to say on away ground, him being away here at JACKOCAR.
Oh no! Big problem there, and Leroy out of the race straight away, a safety car, and that was all started because of, I believe it was, for some reason, Waste just going slowly. He was so slow. He got collected by Michel Grace, lost his front wing instantly, and then Leroy piles into the side. It was a bit like Stroll and Hartley in 2018, if you remember that airborne accident. But it was just Waste so slow on the exit of turn 2, in towards 3 and 4, still slow on the exit of that, and it caused the accident. And that is our second safety car of the evening.
Well, unfortunately, viewers, I hope you accept that Owen White is very good at radio comms, because we missed all of that. Unfortunately, oh no, does not tell me which driver is crashing.
Don't try and blame you missing this on me. I will save the clip so the people of the internet can watch it later. Just like in Monaco, where you also missed everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a rookie. I'm still trying to get used to all this commentary stuff.
Yeah. Iceman is pitted from the race lead on the safety car, as have many others.
Jake
has stayed out.
Interestingly enough, from that, Owen, he has foregone a stage point. Had he stayed out, he would have won the stage, but instead he's given it to Jake O'Sullivan.
I suppose he doesn't mind that because he is in the chase, and like I say, for him this must feel like a guaranteed qualification anyway. I wonder if he's more focused on just making sure he gets to the end. He doesn't need to worry about fighting the rest for stage points. Saying that, you've got Connor up there very much fighting for a win tonight, so maybe you don't want to get too cocky with it, but let's stop mid, and we will see where they go from there.
Yep, so Jake O'Sullivan wins his 22nd stage in the league. It puts him to within 2 of equaling the record, which is, of course, Arnaud de Grief on 24. So yeah, but of course, for Jake, it's another point. So he's now very clear of the cut zone. I will get you the correct amount. Jake O'Sullivan is now 32 points clear of Kyle Smith down in P9 in the standings, that is. So should Jake finish 9th or higher, he will advance to the round of 8, and I think he'll do that, don't you?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Something in me tells me that Jake should comfortably get through the round of 10. It is very much
you never know. You
never know. Really. You do never know. Sometimes you lose the big names, like we never anticipated losing Gareth 2 seasons in a row right before the Championship 5, but we have.
Tragic, that wasn't it?
Awful. My heart bleeds every day for him, and seeing him get back on the top step in Portugal just sort of helped me heal a little bit, because Gareth, of course, is the most deserving driver in the league of anybody who hasn't been to a Championship 5. He deserves it. Nobody's questioning me, so I must be spot on.
Yeah. So, back to... who can I now say I support wholeheartedly? I mean, I don't think I could... I think even if you were in love with someone, you wouldn't be able to say something as beautiful as that. I mean...
Poetic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Queen of Portimao, I mean...
Where is Gareth, actually? Oh, he's P12. Of course, he stays...
Spot, then.
He's like midfield for the entire race and then just finds himself in the top 5 at the end of it.
Particularly P12, as you said earlier, he loves that P12 spot.
But there
maybe
you go.
He's getting old, he's going blind, maybe it says 1-2 on his screen, you think, and we've done this, we've already won.
Oh, and whilst we've got 10 seconds here, you know in... oh, voice. You know in... yeah, when Gareth and Yori have time in the safety car, and when I say time, I mean the entirety of the safety car is out, all they talk about, they do movie reviews.
I know.
So unprofessional. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jake O'Sullivan and Ben Harrett and Connor Byers, the three of them get away. Yori, the first non-ART driver. And you're going to see Connor go around and make contact with Yori, who gets spun from behind, and through goes Jordan up into P4. Casper is also... Where is Casper?
Sixth place.
He's dropped back to 6th. He initially jumped up to 3rd there, I saw on the screen. Has he picked up damage?
I think it's legal overtake, possibly, maybe damage as well. I must say, when it comes to tactics, Connor just bulldozing half the grid away there by spinning into them. That's impressive. And I would say that indeed Casper does have damage. That looks horrendous to drive. And the left-hand side of the shot line is indeed gone. Jordan and Iceman are side by side. Iceman's got through, and Arnold's nearly involved with another accident there. He's had to really get out of the exit of 9 or 8, 9, whatever it is. And Nick up to 5th again.
Oh, Jordan, that's deep. That's on your team, boss. You shouldn't be doing that. But Nick gets away with it, and the only damage done is Jordan loses the position, and Nick loses a bit of time to Iceman as Arnold goes through, and Jordan still being swamped by Gareth. Look at him, back up to P7. What a brilliant restart he's had. And Jordan from 5th to 8th, and now will make a pit stop. That was late, but I don't think he could get across, could he? Jamie Griffiths, by the way, still in this race somehow. As Jake O'Sullivan has led the way around lap 10. Ben Harrett still in tow, but Iceman is now best positioned to win this race if it stays like this, because he's got that pit stop already out the way.
Did you like my oh no again at turn 1? I keep forgetting I'm not the one streaming, so...
Yeah, I know, you should probably say, oh, Leroy, or something like that.
I know, but
less
you
sexual
did see
than
that
but
one that time, didn't you? Well,
yeah. Anyway, here goes Ben, eyeing up the back of Connor, and in a non-homosexual way. What can he do, the man from Liverpool? Or will he wait until the hairpin and send it? Connor chooses to go defensive. Ben to the outside, with Jake's locked up, by the way. Or is it's this awful glitch that we've got as Ben Shaw completes his move on Connor Byers, and Nick is next in line. Connor, by the way, with no damage, it would appear, after that awful restart that he had. I mean, he's got on away with it.
It was a weird one because he rear-ended the back of Ben, but it wasn't a massive hit, but it wasn't just spin enough to unstable the rear, and he almost had a pathetic Bottas style sort of spin where it just sort of pathetically goes around, but there's nothing you can do about it. So it wasn't anything malicious, it was just seemingly quite unlucky. Arnold, by the way, don't cut him out. We know he's very good here. He's now net 3rd. Well, he's actually 3rd now because of all the pit stops. He's just sort of appeared, hasn't he? As has Khalifa, despite his front line being missing earlier on and pitting before the safety car, he's shot right up through the field. He's in 5th place. So
there you go. That are all the stops that you can see. Everyone has now done one mandatory stop. The second mandatory stops can commence from the end of lap 15 onwards. Back to tyres. Arnold staring down the back of his boss. Can he get a move done without making contact with the owner? Unlike Jordan was not able to. Jordan, by the way, now down in P15.
I feel like Dexter's going to have a very mean word of you here.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of One Hub, aren't I? Yeah, I'm so sorry, Dexter.
Dexter, I respect you, don't worry. I know your role in ERT.
Here goes Arnold. Oh, it gets squeezed into the wall by Nick, but through goes Arnold up into P2. That was brilliant.
That was brilliant, jeez.
Cool, that was Hamilton Button from 2010, wasn't it?
Nick just disconnected. I wonder if that's why the car jinked there, but that's Nick. If he doesn't hurry up and get back in, there could be a podium disappearing in his home race. Oh dear.
Well, it gave us a bit of drama, didn't it?
Unfortunate. Oh, look how
Arnold.
slowly he goes.
You know, I was talking about Gareth making his way to the top 5.
Yes.
He is there. And of course,
Has just been overtaken by Khalifa, but he will possibly now go to 4th because of what's happened to Nick. So all he needs is for an issue in front of him, and there could be another podium in store for the man who we're all expecting to leave the playoffs in Mexico. But if he's up here all the time, maybe not.
Yeah, he needs the season that Ben Harrett had in the regular season. Gareth needs that in the postseason. But here goes Khalifa on Nick, not his team owner. Of course, Nick, the One Hub Racing owner. But who knew that? Because I didn't. But yeah, Khalifa up in the P3. So the ERT boys, who had an awful qualifying, they are all starting to make their way to the front. And Arnold, I was going to say, the only driver in the top, let me get this correct, in the top 7 in points who doesn't have a win this season. Nick rejoins the session. Can he get control of that car before Gareth comes flying through? Sullivan Lewis in P6, by the way, having a good race, but the first car with a penalty. Jamie Griffiths still in this race, by the way. We're going to go back to Gareth's view as he's starting to harass the back of that purple machine. What can the man from the south of England do? He eyes up a move down the inside. That would be silly. That's the sort of move that Gareth complains about the Kia Series drivers doing on a Tuesday night. That would be awfully embarrassing for Mr. Hall, wouldn't it? But he waits his turn and now should get the DRS.
Jimmy
as you see Sullivan and Jamie. Sullivan sliding for ages. But here goes Gareth. This should be straightforward, Owen Wyatt.
You would have thought so. No DRS for Nick, and so he'll be done. And Jimmy Griffiths, he was into the back of Sullivan Lewis, and he used that as a way of getting past him. So I'm sure Sullivan will be very happy with that one. As Jamie, who's still in the race, as you keep mentioning, he's now up in the 6th position. So all going well actually for him at the moment.
I'm trying to do a classic Owen Wyatt and jinx Jamie Griffiths into a crash. See how that goes. Because you back in the day, you were awful for it.
I was. I've just done it to be fair now, haven't
I? Yeah, I reckon so.
And Wes is in the pits again. I was wondering why he was falling down positions. He's been around the place. I don't know. Is that? It's a weird time to pit, actually. Isn't it, for Wes?
I dare say it's very non-mandatory of him.
Yeah.
I hope.
But he's hit OKK into a massive slide, and Jordan. Remember, he was at the front earlier on. He's now down in 14th place, now having overtaken.
Oh, Jordan, give him room, man!
Oh dear me.
I dare say that was Jordan's fault, squeezing OKK when he is on his right. You'd have thought with 100 races to his name, he might be a slightly bit more experienced than that. Maybe not. I mean, I'm not out there racing.
Nick. He's back past Gareth and into the top 4 once again. And that's going to cause a bit of a trade now, actually, because Jamie Griffiths and Risky are within DRS range of all this.
I have also noted that Mr. De Grief is within a second of Ben Shaw. Don't say anything, Owen. Just let this play out.
Well,
please.
The thing is, you actually caused that issue because he's already completely thrown it all away in the chicane as you were talking about.
Oh, never mind. Jordan is out this race, but it's in the pit lane.
Come.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, we'll go.
Christ up
Fuck's sake.
That had nothing to do with me. That was entirely Jacko's fault. Okay, for the record, nothing to do with me.
Oh dear. Anyway, the second mandatory pit stops can commence now. Well, they could from the last lap actually, but who cares? Because Arnold is not winning this race now. I'm trying to re-jinx him, getting back in contention. Iceman leads lap 16, and we go on to lap 17. So we are now just about halfway through, and Khalifa has a 4-second gap to those leaders. Nick is being harassed this time by Gareth Hall, who hasn't let him go. Jamie Griffiths picks up a penalty. I feel like a bit of commentary just then. That might be one of those classic clips where Arnold picks his penalty up and your reaction. That's going to be one of those that's replayed for time.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end up affecting him too badly, because he is now back in DRS range. All it'll do is it will mean Arnaud now has to get his foot down and overtake and make a gap. The same thing really happened in Portugal, where he ended up with a penalty, and it just made things a lot more awkward. But as long as the underlying pace is there, then he should be fine. Now, yellow flag in the final corner, not entirely sure what for. No one retired or hit anything from what I can tell. Unless OKK did, but he's got no damage. He's side by side with Pete, they're fighting for 15. And Arnaud fighting for the lead on track. He's got his DRS open. This will also give him a chance to save ERS, although he is at a very similar level to the race leader. They're both pulling away from Khalifa. Khalifa doesn't seem to have as much pace at this stage, although there could of course be floor damage or anything with him. So we'll wait and see what he has to say later on.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to take credit for this. We have a race on our hands.
Oh,
it brings Khalifa back into play as well.
Yeah,
the gap is now
on.
2 seconds.
Have you seen that?
Like
Nick
Gareth.
and Gareth at the same corner. It's all just...
Oh, Michelle's out. Is it time to get excited?
Yes, it is.
It's a safety car as well.
Nice
Great timing.
as well.
Thank you. Fantastic stuff. So who has their safety car pit stops in hand? Because, I'll be quite honest, I've forgotten.
Khalifa does, I think. Khalifa, who's surrounded by drivers who haven't got a penalty. He pitted the lap before the last safety car with no front wing. And now, this race has suddenly just been handed to him. Although, is it too early? I don't know.
Oh,
I think he will pit, though. My
yeah.
goodness.
Well, the other two will stay out, and they are doing exactly that. Ben and Arnaud. Khalifa stays out.
Again, that could be because he just doesn't want to use bad tyres. Nick does, though. He's into the pits. And Jake, oh dear, drive-through penalty. He was already down in 8th place, but that's going to fall even further. Why drive-through penalty? That's a very... Do you know what he's done? He might well have just put his foot down, because you can, for 15 seconds, break the delta time, and as long as you enter the pits within that 15 seconds, you can actually break the delta as much as you like. Yeah. I wonder if he's possibly just gone a bit too much on that.
And then maybe outbraked himself naturally into the pit lane. Or was that, a speeding and a safety car one?
That was a
drive-through, okay.
For speeding, so I think that's what he might have done there. It's easy to do.
So this goes back to us saying he should quite easily get 8 points to advance to the round of 8. It's JACKOCAR turning the screw once again.
Can I just say, by the way, what Nick has done there is not a mandatory stop, is it? And he's on the soft compound tyres. He is looking at 2 very quick stints here, I think.
And the thing is, as well, he's only given up 4th. He's only lost 3 places.
Yeah, this is possibly a masterclass of a move here. If Khalifa could just be nice and get a penalty, then we could watch this top 8.
we could have a proper race.
Fight properly here, because Khalifa, let me just check how many warnings the man from Bahrain's got. He's got 2 warnings. He's got 2 warnings. So
okay, so we just need Gareth to just tease him into it.
Well, exactly, yeah. A penalty is in the works there for him. And once you get that, we're in for a bit of a classic. Because I think Arnaud's the quickest man out there. Iceman will fight it, of course. Khalifa, as long as he doesn't have a penalty, he'll maybe sit behind, not do much. So we need him to get a penalty, so he has to fight as well. Gareth is just... he is who he is. He'll fight for it. Risky, it's been a long time since he's won a race. He's up there in the top 5. Jamie Griffiths, God knows what he's doing up there, but he's up there. And Nick is on these super fast soft compound tyres, and he's got real pace. So yeah, this top 7 is a very, very exciting looking top 7.
Indeed it is. I was just having to check that there's no desync issues currently, because Jamie Griffiths P6 is not something we are used to seeing this season as he makes his way round in this train. But maybe the invite to the comms box scared him. Who knows?
Inspiration, perhaps.
Yeah. Like, if you crash, you've got to sit with Owen and talk. I mean, I certainly wouldn't crash out if that was a threat.
Well, you know, some drivers actually had the horrifying task of racing. You did it here, actually. No. You had your best ever Cup Series result sat here racing with me and
I
Combs.
did, didn't I?
You did, didn't you?
That was the first time we did that.
It was the first time, and it was the only time it was any good.
Yeah. We actually garnered a lot of interest in that. And then it's sort of, we overdid it, and now it's
just
a bit dead. Although the Kia Series guys did it earlier this season when Gareth wasn't there, so there was a lot of talent they had to fill because there was so much missing, and that's why they went to a three-man comms team.
I personally wouldn't go back to doing it, but
no.
Let Kia do all that experimentation.
I'll tell you what I would do is I would go back to a four-man commentary team like we did in the Championship 5, but I wouldn't have all four as commentators. I'd have, you know, like they do with the NASCAR, they've got the main guys that call it, and then they go to their pit reporters. Just every 4 or 5 laps, just come in with something.
Yeah.
Bit of information, that would work perfectly. I reckon.
What
do I know?
I don't know how that would work actually. Would you want drivers on track just to give you the odd update?
No. Like actual, just comms only people, not driving.
Oh wow.
I was just referring back to the time when, I think it was Championship 5. Was it Championship 5? It was me, you, Gareth, and Arnaud.
Yeah, it was the Championship 5. That was one of the best races we
was
ever
that
covered.
Saudi? Was it?
That's Saudi. All four of us in the
got it wrong.
That was good stuff. That.
Yeah.
Oh, we all got it wrong, but it was a good race. We all worked quite well as a commentary team. If Arnaud keeps bottling things, we might end up having to get him back in.
Yeah. So there you go. You've heard maybe some future potential plans of what's going to happen in the Cup Series, but who knows? Let me just update the laps led. Ben Shaw, by the way, has now secured the most laps led point. You'd never have guessed that. Ben S. Stage 2 also went to Ben Shaw, so he's gained 3 playoff points tonight, which puts him very, very clear. So far clear. He's 9 clear of Kieran, who's not even racing. Anyway, back to the front. Iceman, his second restart of the night. How will he handle this one? Off he goes and catches Arnaud napping, but it's a great restart from Risky. He may have to give that one back. He has to, as Gareth and Khalifa go straight back through. It was a very good restart, but it's just a bit too soon for Risky, who's now being spun by Jamie Griffiths. And are they all getting through further back? Yes, they are. So that was the only contact made. Jamie Griffiths looking at P5 on the inside. Contact! And in the wall. Jamie Griffiths is out. He's going to join us in the commentary box.
And
Pete Knight also out.
The biggest news there, Gareth, round the outside of Khalifa, got it done. He's in the 3rd place while all that was happening. So, very good restart for Gareth. The fastest member of Team Speed. He's up in the 3rd position. And Jamie Griffiths.
Join us, Jamie. Join us. The thing is, we called
now,
this.
Surely Khalifa pits now, by the way. Surely not. He's seen what happened to him. He's got a pit now. Take your pit stop under the safety car when you've got the chance to do it. Unless I've got that wrong and he doesn't, but I'm pretty sure he does, because that restart was horrible for him.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just recovering from the Jamie Griffiths commentary. It's just the fact I held the note and waited for him to be DNF'd, and there goes Khalifa into the pit lane. But yeah, another classic clip that's come out tonight that'll be repeated for years. I know the Mr. John crash in Monaco still gets abused, doesn't it? We love that one.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. Jake is teammates here with Khalifa, and he still has a drive through the take. So, oh dear, this is not going to plan at all for Jake as it stands.
It's very much a damage limitation race for him now, isn't it? Just get whatever points you can on the board and make next week easier. You've got the gap to the other guys, so you should also advance through the round of 8 as easily as you advance through the round of 10, as we are now joined by the most recent retiree of the Canadian Grand Prix, Jamie Griffiths. How was that out there for you? Still establishing connection in Wales, apparently. He'll speak at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, we are left with 13 cars at the moment and it is Iceman, Arnaud, Gareth leading the way. But Khalifa, we think, is in the box seat. We're not sure, are we?
I'd say he's got a very good chance, unless he's got some floor damage or something like that.
Okay,
both
here
mute
he is.
On.
Jamie Griffiths, talk to us.
Here. I want to start off by saying I didn't have much option really to be here. It was just an unfortunate situation. I was initially scared of being here. As you mentioned, I was running pretty well there until 2 cars didn't go into one.
Do you know, defenders as well? So you were jinxed because Jess put it in the chat saying you were P6 and that you were doing so well. And so we initially were worried it'd be us that would jinx you, but it ended up being Jess's fault entirely.
We actually had you.
Do you want to know my secret? I turned medium traction back on after I crashed with Corey.
I see.
Okay. Do you know, Jamie, we had you down as winning the race tonight. We were fully backing you up here. And then, of course...
Oh, really?
Yeah, honestly. Couldn't believe it.
So what actually happened with Corey then? What actually happened with Corey? Because that's actually a useful conversation, because he was very unhappy.
It was just me being, as I usually have been this season, and just losing traction, and he was just an innocent bystander to the event.
The event. Okay. Well,
pardon me, that's what I think of that.
So yeah, Corey very unhappy with that one, so I'm sure you're used to that, I know by now. You'll have to deal with that one in the chat. But
so even if I did finish well tonight, I don't think I would have kept it, personally.
Yeah. I don't know, I think he would have had something to say about it, wouldn't he? So
yeah.
You're in this position now, you can look at the grid. How did you feel about how the race was going, actually, or how the strategies were looking? Because you've got Khalifa now sat in P10, you would have fought in the box seat.
Okay.
So, looking at that, how do you feel like this is going to end up going?
Well, I am not entirely sure. It could go either way. It could be more safety cars. This race has been riddled with them so far, so Khalifa could be on the back foot if that happens.
You caused 2, by the way, just to throw that out there.
You did as well.
Well, I caused 2 loosely. I didn't.
You caused 2.
I caused the first one. The second one is up to
You were in the middle of it.
Anyway,
Jamie, we're about to get going for the 4th time, no thanks to you, in Canada. Ben Shaw has once again nailed the restart, and so has Risky, but has he done it legally this time? Up the inside of Gareth Hall, contact, no, good racing from those two, and Ben Shaw maintains the lead, but look at Nick I've done it again, Nick Egan sniffing up the inside, trying to make it 3 wide into turn 3, but nothing doing there, and Gareth has held on to 3rd. Iceman and Arnold continue to lead the way, another penalty for Ben Harrett. Khalifa has made no progress on this outlap, and contact further back. It's Casper down the inside. Can he get the move done? Loses the rear, and through goes Ben Harrett and Connor, and Khalifa as well, sniffing an opportunity as he goes through as well. And Nick also getting past Risky Racer, and he is now looking at the back of Gareth Hall once again. Arnold on the back of Ben Shaw. These two have broken away. When will Arnold strike? Do these two still have to pit? We think they do. He's right on the gearbox. Yes, they do. I've just been informed by Owen Wyatt. Arnold unleashes the ERS. Don't care. Risky's round. Yep. Can he get the move done on Ben Shaw before the pit lane? He goes to the outside. Arnold is a new race leader in Canada, but is he going to pit straight away? Yes, he is. But Iceman will stay out and continue to hold the lead on lap 25. And Nick will be up into P2. What a great lap of racing that was, Owen Wyatt.
That was tricky to keep up with as Arnold comes out of the pits, and you can see already that Khalifa is corners ahead of him. And so as look at that, Casper wide again. I'm wondering how much of the track Casper's actually seen today. He's barely on the racing line ever, and he's already falling back down the field. But Iceman...
okay.
And okay.
Yeah, sorry, Owen.
Yes.
He had a bit of contact there with Yuri.
So Connor on the back of West. This is what Khalifa's now arriving on the back of, and Arnold's about 10 seconds off that. And so without a penalty, you would have said that Khalifa's looking pretty good. If we get more safety cars, etc., though, it could throw it up in the air, and that's what could happen with this fight in front of him, because this is all over the place. And Khalifa, in the last few weeks, has gotten so unlucky with being caught up in accidents that he had nothing to do with. And there's another potential for one now. We've got Ben Harrett fighting with Gareth in front, and a double overtake for Khalifa down the inside of both Waze and Connor, and he'll be breathing a huge sigh of relief there, I think.
Yeah,
but they're
Waze.
both going to be in the slipstream. Look at the run they both have now. Who gets the move done on Khalifa? Do they both have a go at it, or do they both just be sensible and sit back? As we see more pit stops happening in front. And
great save from Connor out of the wall. The champions kept it out of the wall, but here comes Casper around the outside. His old teammate gets the move done before turn one. Connor sticks it up the inside. Casper has the preferred line, but Connor, can he maintain it? No, he can't. Casper gets the traction and will lead into turn 3 here. By the way, going all the way back to half a lap ago, Waze made that easy for Khalifa, who now finds himself in P3 without a penalty. It's just Ben Harrett and Nick ahead of him. Both of them we expect to pit as well, as OKK moves up to P7, and Connor still struggling with that car, but keeps it facing the right way just about. Yuri will be interested now. Can he move up into a top 5 position? It'll be doing wonders for his chase campaign, because Ben Shaw is all the way down in P11, and OKK is out of this race. We're going to get one more safety car in Canada, are we?
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're not going to get it.
Out.
I thought we had one more left, but OKK out of this race.
VSC turned into a safety car, maybe that counted as 2. Can I just say, by the way, we are expecting Nick in. I don't think we're expecting Ben Harrett in. So Ben Harrett is the race leader. Of course, Khalifa will pass him pretty quickly, you would have thought. But that means Casper, after the day he's had, is sitting third. But a net third, with no penalty, is of course Connor. So if he can keep the car in a straight line, maybe he can get the podium and be happy with it this time. But we'll see what happens. It's a long way to go, of course, especially for JACKOCAR standards. Anything can really happen here. I would agree, though, that we might well be out of safety cars, because we had that VSC at the start. That turned into a safety car. That tends to count as 2, I think. And we would have already taken up the 5.
Thought we still had the one left. It was 4 full safety cars, wasn't it? But yes, I forgot the VSC. Iceman, by the way, behind rival Jake O'Sullivan. Jamie Griffiths, anything to add?
You lot might have been, you might have done a good job jinxing me here, because I'm looking at this now and it does seem like Khalifa's found himself in a very good position, and me being on a similar strategy to him could have been somewhere behind him, maybe not right behind him. But I have noticed that Khalifa's biggest weakness is he goes for the move on Ben Harrett and takes the lead of the race rather easily. His weakness is the hairpin. I've been following him the last couple of laps. The hairpin is where he's been struggling under brakes, so just watch out for that if he's ever under pressure.
See, I suggested he might have floor damage because he was involved in an accident earlier on today, and I'm wondering perhaps if that could be part of it. Doesn't look to be affecting him too much because he's got the tyre advantage, as Connor moves to within only a couple of tenths here of net second, actually. So he's got very good pace at the moment, and Ben Harrett and Casper might well have to look behind him and figure out what they're going to do about this, because Connor, by keeping it clean, is on for his best result of the season so far. If he can keep it on the road, he is now in net second. He keeps going in and out of it, but he will, I think, if he stays in DRS, be on for it.
Absolutely. I've just moved the information onto the penalty so the viewers at home can see what all the drivers have got. It is just Khalifa, Connor and Jake who don't have penalties. Of course, Jake has served now his drive-through. Never mind, that's the second time I've jinxed someone today. So it is just now Khalifa and Connor who don't have penalties. The rest are on 3s and 6s, as you can see across the board there. The 7 retirements we've had so far as Khalifa is about to end lap 29 and begin lap 30, as he is now going to be 6 laps away from his 13th Cup Series win, closing the gap to Jamie Wright, the record holder on 19. Is he hitting form at the right time? He's already got the 1 race win this season, but it seems like weeks ago he could do with another one here, as Ben Harrett follows in P3. Jake makes a move on Waze. Waze, by the way, earlier was defending brilliantly when Connor was behind him, but of course made the error which allowed Khalifa to slip through, and now you see Khalifa leading the way.
Guys, watch Arnaud. Look how much he's actually starting to catch the back of this train to fight for the podium.
The train being Yuri Hazelager, and here goes Arnaud, as Jamie Griffiths correctly points out. That was nice and easy, and up into P5 he goes. But of course the next car is Connor Byers. Of course, without his penalty will make it difficult for Arnaud to achieve that And as we said earlier, Arnaud the only driver top 7 in points without a race win this season, as we are looking at 5 laps to go.
So Iceman has been relatively left behind, so it does sort of confirm to me that Arnaud was the quicker of the two. Obviously with his penalty as well, he's going to struggle. He'll overtake Yuri, but I have a feeling that 6th is possibly going to be his ceiling today. The problem he'll have, Arnaud, is that his tyres will obviously start to fall off at a bigger rate each lap than the guys in front of him. So second place, it'll all, I suppose, depend on what Connor does. And I don't know if I'm Connor, I'm maybe following him in his DRS as he overtakes Casper, etc. But then again, will Casper try to help defend because they're both ERT teammates? A lot of potential strategy in here for these last 5 laps to try and work out a podium, because ERT, I'm sure, will do their very best to engineer a 1-2-3 here if they can manage it.
Yep, just watching now, Sullivan Lewis on the back of Waze. Is he going to make it easy for him? He moves to the right a little bit, but there's racing room enough for Risky to slide his 37 car up the inside. Arnaud also making a move on Connor, who has really started to fall away from Casper and Ben Harrett now. But Connor does not have the DRS. Of course, it is Arnaud who will now break away. And we are 4 laps to go from the end. Here's Khalifa, your race leader here in Canada. He's won here twice before, looking for a hat-trick of Canadian victories.
So next up on Arnaud's list is Casper. Now, what are they going to do about this? Casper's obviously higher up in the championship. He's currently, 2nd on points, isn't he? Where Arnaud is just 6th. So you would expect, actually, that Casper would make this a bit easier for his teammate and let him up through. Because they're both he's chasing Ben Harrett in points. If he can beat Ben Harrett on track, he might well be able to overtake him and sort of get himself into the top 4, which is of course where you need to be by the end of the playoffs to get into the Championship 5. So hopefully they're thinking about this. I don't think Casper's in the party, but I know Khalifa and Arnaud are. If they're able to try and engineer anything, they'll be talking to each other about this exact scenario.
As Iceman gets past Yuri. Go on, Jamie. Sorry I interrupted.
Would it be a smart idea to maybe back Khalifa up into Ben Spurs? Obviously, the risk added that is contact and it takes him out of the contention for the win. But do ERT see that as a possibility to help Casper and Arnaud?
Well, the thing is, they're going to have to pass Ben on this lap because they're all over him. Look, I don't know what's happening with Ben, if he's actually having any issues, but his pace has completely disappeared.
And it's not like tyre fall off is an issue either, because Casper's on the same age tyres.
Yeah, it just appears, of course, 3 DRS zones will help Casper, but he hasn't been this close the whole stint, and obviously Arnaud's climbing all over the back of the two of them. They've got to be smart, and they are being smart. That is the right thing to do, and good work there from Casper, because he knows he'll then get a chance to pass Ben Harrett later, and so the 1-2-3 looks like it is on here, and you can see Arnaud was just weaving about there. I'm sure that was what to say thank you, just to acknowledge the move, because second place is definitely on now.
It was either a thank you to Casper or a hello, I'm here to intimidate you, Ben Harrett, who lets Arnaud go through.
Let's see what happens here, because
that's going to open the door for Casper.
Get through quickly, because of course Ben Harrett will try and get the toe, but he doesn't have the DRS. Here comes Casper. He's going to back it up. He doesn't want to risk it into the final chicane. Smart move. You've got time. You've still got 2 laps, and you've got way more pace. As downwards turn 1, I think he's going to do it here. Ben Harrett defends it. And that was very good defence, because Casper, he actually couldn't find a way through.
Yeah.
Now, is there any possible way for Khalifa to engineer a victory for Arnaud? Because we all know he's not 1-1 yet. And I suppose it doesn't really make sense to do that at this stage, though, does it? So I think they'll just take the 1-2 frankly here.
They will be talking about it, though, I'm sure. Arnaud would love a win. But this engineering a victory and who needs the more points and that you guys were talking about, it's JACKOCAR. At some point, the team aspect has to go out the window. You have to think about yourself, because at one point, if you all make the Championship 5, you're all going to be fighting for a title, and then you don't want to tiptoe over each other to decide who wins a championship, because that's when tears happen, and then the rival gets in there and wins the title. We've seen it happen before. Arnaud following Kyle around in Brazil, ended up with Jamie Wright being the champion. You may remember that in season 2, but I'm sure they will work it out in time. It's 6 races in this playoff season, don't forget, and Khalifa looks like he's on his way to win the opening round of the postseason. It's 1 lap to go here in Canada, and he just has it all under control. Nice 3-second gap, no penalties, just the 2 warnings. But even if he did get a penalty, it looks under control enough for Khalifa, who's done an excellent job. Leroy questioning in chat, has Khalifa done his stops? Yes, he has. I will just move it for you. He made the safety car stop in the second portion of the race. And then, of course, he made his first stop under green flag conditions. We see Yori pick up another penalty. Arnaud has got out of that 1 second DRS window of Ben Harrett, who is now at threat from Casper Klein, the Finn driving a Swedish car. Never mind, he's ruined it. So Ben Harrett then, excellent news for his playoff campaign, because that'll be a playoff point if he can stay there in third, as you do get for being there. But attention will turn to Khalifa for the remainder of this lap. 13 race victories, as I said, is what he'll be moving on to. 6 away from Jamie Wright. He's also 1 championship away, but he's made it look easy in the second half of the race. Your 13-time race winner in the Cup Series, Khalifa, goes through to the round of 8. Arnaud to be P2. Ben Harrett holds on to a massive podium. Casper 4th. Iceman has recovered to 5th. But it's Connor who moves up into 3rd. And there's a massive crash at the line. Ben Harrett misses out on the playoff point. And Connor on the podium 2 seasons in a row here in Canada. Fantastic stuff for him. But it is Iceman who did end up P5 there with no front wheel on his wagon.
Not entirely sure how that happened, actually.
I'm not either.
Connor was so close. But you know what? It might well be because of Casper's extra penalty, actually. Maybe I was just looking at the wrong driver. Because what happened there was Casper got through and then lost it into the final corner. Perhaps they both had to slow up or something, but he cut the last chicane. Very odd one.
I think he clipped the grass on the entry.
He did, yeah. Well, either way, it's ended up with Connor on the podium. So it was Khalifa from Arnaud from Connor. And like I say, I think Connor, he'll be happy with it this season. He was livid at the end of last season. What was the gap in the end? It couldn't have been much. Because it was literally just 0.2 of a second. So whatever happened there, Connor just pulled out a fantastic last lap. Iceman ended up P5 in the end. And I didn't think he'd end up anywhere above P6. So I think he'll take that as well, considering how the strategy fell away from him.
I must admit, I totally forgot about Connor. I thought he'd been ditched by the front runners, but like you say, Owen, recovered it all at the very end there to end up P3. So 14 points and a playoff point for Connor. Brilliant start to his postseason, because you look at Ben Shaw, his 9-point lead that he had coming into it, or 6-point lead, he extended to 9 with the playoff points, but then only ends up P5. So this Chase Championship is very much on. And a quick note on Pete Knighton, who did retire from the race, but is now clear of the... it was a tied record for most fastest laps in the Cup Series. He is now clear and has his 13th fastest lap. 13, of course, the number of the day, because Khalifa won his 13th race. Gentlemen, anything to add?
I don't know, really. That's a race that's caught me a bit off guard, that one. Only 12 cars got to the end of it, and Gareth wasn't at the front, so...
Win-win for everyone.
To be honest.
Yeah. Well, hold on, before I say what I'm going to say, because I need to hit you with correct stats, don't I?
Would help.
So next week, the Cup Series returns. Obviously, we complete the round of 10 in its second race.
Oh.
We go to Monza. Jamie Griffiths, do you like Monza? Yes?
Well, yes, I do. Whether I'm any good at it anymore is to be decided. I don't know if you had a look at the group chat, but Jordan has left something.
Oh, but no, hold on a minute. That's my news, because I shall be on the grid next week and bring on, because
I knew you'd
Jordan
say
has
that.
retired effective immediately, he says. I'm sure he doesn't mean it. He'll be back next week.
He said that to me before.
He has, but but he's tweeted it publicly, and
He's done that before as well. Don't
has
worry
he?
about Geordie. Yeah,
But I want a seat, Jacko.
I'll have to get in touch with the people that run the league and see what we can do.
Yeah, Jacko. That's you.
Not on
Your
stream.
name's above the door. Your name's above the door. Come
Anyway,
on.
the Cup Series returns next week before we have a 2-week break. So that is, where have I just said? Monza. Jamie Griffiths, previous race winner there. Owner of the smallest winning margin in history. Tied, actually. 0.033. Of course, that is...
And the best
Tied
finish.
here last season, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. Because it was penalties that played a factor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that is race 201. Do not forget to join us for race 200, Kia Series Portimao. And it's actually the regular season finale over in the Kia Series. So 2 very exciting weeks before the 2-week break. But I don't know why. Is someone going on holiday?
I don't know. Are
Yes, they are. So anyway, if you two don't have anything to add, I think we can end it here.
I'll be preparing.
I'm just happy we're
for
going away
Monza.
from this track.
So they talked over each other. So if you could make any sense of that, guys, congratulations. If not, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching.